Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. On this episode, I'm joined by Jeff O'Leary, guitarist for the band Smoke Signals. So grab a fresh cup of coffee and wake the fuck up! What's going on, Caffeinated Crew? Today I'm joined by Jeff from the first band of Newfoundland that I've had on the podcast, Smoke Signals. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing today?
Great. A little tired. Drank maybe a little too much mezcal last night. Just a little too much. So yeah, feeling bad. But you know what? This will make up for it. This will be great. Having some coffee now. So, are you drinking anything?
Yeah. I'm rolling deep on the I think it's Cafe William light roast today.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Is
that good?
It's pretty good. It's like I was rolling through Costco last week and I saw it and I was like, I'm not about to start buying coffee at Costco. And I went to work the next day and my friend who's a pretty big drinker was like, man, like the new stuff at Costco is pretty good. And I was like, dude, I'm not about to start buying coffee at Costco. And he was like, no, give it a shot. I was like, all right, man. So I went in and picked it up and it's pretty good. Like for the size of the bag for $20, like it's a lot of coffee. That's like not, like your standard over the counter full bag of coffee. So I'm stoked on it.
I see it in the grocery stores here. Like when I first moved here, I saw it everywhere. Because they don't sell Cafe William in the States. I think it's just Canadian. I honestly I think it's
they're based out of Montreal.
That's what I was thinking. I think it was a Montreal thing, and now it's expanded to Costco and everywhere. Yeah, stores near you. So I never tried it because it looked too Italian for me.
Okay,
a little snob when it comes to that, but I know people who do like it. So
yeah, they were like handing out samples like hand over fist over there. But again, I was like, I'm not about to drink sampled coffee at Costco, right? So I'm like, yeah, I was like, if this didn't come out of a French press 20 minutes ago, like I'm not in.
We can't make more samples until we give out the samples that we have.
That's right.
This is old. Yeah. This is old.
Yeah, I looked behind them. They had these like 4 massive crafts of coffee. So I was like, not today.
I have a redemption moment happening right now. About 2 years ago, when the man Hoya from Madball was doing an episode, I drank some Escape coffee.
Okay.
From Montreal, great people. I've met some of them, and they're very, very nice. I did not enjoy that coffee even for a sip. It was horrible. I don't know why. Could be user error. I don't know. But I will say that I'm drinking again an Escape coffee, and this is their Super Naturel, and it's like really good. It's a Guatemalan anaerobic coffee, and it tastes like a lot of grape, like Chardonnay and grape juice. So it's kind of winey. And then they changed their branding a bit, so it's really nice now.
That's pops.
Yeah, it's like whoa, it's purple. Yeah, it's really good. So shout out to Escape. Awesome job. I'm sorry that I was a hater for so long.
We're all just repping the MTL today.
You got to do it. We love to see it. What are because like I said, the little bit that I do know about Newfoundland and St. John's.
St. John's. Yeah.
Okay,
St. John is going to be New Brunswick.
It's not the one that he owns. It's him actually himself. Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
So St. John. I can never remember which one's which.
Yeah. So and to make it even worse too, they both start with new. So like St. John is in New Brunswick and St. John's is in Newfoundland. So
there's a lot of variables. I've even talked to people from Nova Scotia that are like, I can't remember which one is which. And I'm like, you live right next door. Um,
Yeah, there's some people here who would take high offense to that.
s- sorry to all my Newfie brothers and sisters. What's the coffee scene like out there?
It's pretty good. We do have a handful of local roasters out here. Now, like I myself, I normally drink the Gross Morning coffee. So I don't, it's done here. They got a bunch of different roasts. I drink primarily the Tablelands roast. I was turned on to it from a Christmas gift a few years ago, and
Nice.
so yeah, it was just someone gave me just like a little small bag of it, just like a taster, and I tried it, and I was like, I'm probably going to drink this for the rest of time, and it was like my go-to coffee for up until about 6 months ago. I was just like, I think it's just time to like have something different. So I moved over to the Brooklyn Coffee Company after that for a little bit, which was pretty good.
Yeah, that's like I said, very ignorant to anything happening. Because I've only had friends that have gone out and played like Bad Bet and Deadbolt because I share, or Ryan is in the band with me. So
Nice.
he,
We just played with Bad Bet there a few months back.
yeah, I saw that they are good friends of ours. And so they were saying that they had a really fun time and that it was like a crazy thing to fly. I think they flew.
They did, yeah. They flew and they we were at the first show we played with them. We were like, you guys need gear because they had nothing with them. So we played right before them at both the shows that we played with. So it was kind of just like just like a handoff of the instruments, kind of a very old school thing, right? So that was pretty cool. But the guys were super nice and they were incredible. Like we were stoked to get to play with them. We were lucky to get to play with them two of the three shows that they played. And like we were really stoked to see them and to get to play with them. And I went to all three shows, so it was great. They were awesome.
Sick. Yeah, they just played at Madhouse a couple weeks ago, and it's always fun seeing them. Hopefully, we get to do some stuff in the States this year with them because they're just fun to hang out with. Terrible band, but just fun to hang out with. uh, in terms of like the shows and things like bands coming out, because Ryan has talked a lot about when he went and played in Newfoundland with Deadbolt and met a lot of great people out there and some of the bands. Like I think is Bazooka one of the bands that he's like. I remember him showing me that, and I was like, "Damn, that's kind of hard."
Yeah, there's a lot of wild stuff coming out of Newfoundland right now. So
How is the scene? I feel like it's so detached, and I've seen some people that come to fests on this side. They'll fly out for like Hold Your Ground and things like that. So I've seen
right.
some of the staple guys or people, and then that's pretty much all I know. They just buy a lot of merch, which is sick.
They definitely do. Yeah, no, it's really healthy right now. Like we've been a band. This will be like this summer will be 12 years.
Mhm.
So we were lucky when we started it. Like things were really healthy, and then we went through like a real dark period. But now coming out of COVID, like things were just crazy. Like all the bands that a lot of like the younger crowd were starting were just all so good, and just it was weird to see like 18 and 19-year-old kids like do like Youth of Today covers and like just like this completely new take on like what hardcore is here, or like not even completely new, just like stuff that like I haven't seen since like 2005 or
Mhm.
2003. So like it was really cool to kind of see that like big resurgence here. So like healthy would be like probably like the prime word that I would use word. And I think the thing that makes me the most excited is it's our all ages scene that is the healthiest. Like we have a
Mhm.
really, really strong all ages scene right now.
Yeah, that's encouraging to hear because most places in this regional area, there's like Destiny's the one doing all the all ages stuff, and I know it's very expensive and like stressful to do. And
Yeah, I mean, when you do anything here, like the overhead right out the hop is $400 or $500 just to get the show off the ground, right? So
I mean, that's a lot of overhead. So the expensive, the Newfoundland, everything is expensive thing tracks.
yeah, to a degree. I mean, like being on an island definitely like there is advantages and disadvantages to it. I mean, like the creativity is something that like I don't think you could get outside of here.
Hmm.
And just like the ability to have to just make it work. Like that's what I love about here is like everyone who's doing it just has to find a way to make it work.
Hmm.
The disadvantage is, we want to bring our friends in, we meet bands online, and like right out the gate, we have like, yeah, so you take a 9-hour ferry, then you drive for 12 hours, and then you can play 3 shows. So like there's that. Right now we are lucky, the west coast of Newfoundland has been kind of popping off lately, so a lot of the bands that are coming through that are driving are able to get that extra night in and an extra 2 shows. I know we did during the summer, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the guys in heavy Newfoundland. They kind of do like a blog type thing.
Hmm.
But they kind of got together and did a fest, and they did, I think it was 5 shows. 2 were on the West Coast, 3 were in here, and they brought in Thousand Knives, Fear and Filth, and Hell's Reach. I believe were the 3 bands that came in, and
Nice.
like every show, from what I heard, was like incredible.
Mm.
And when we played the I don't know, I want to say the bigger show. We played like the bigger venue show, and just to hear all the nice things that everyone had to say about like the West Coast, it was like really cool. We haven't played out there. Funny enough, we're on the island and we haven't even made the trek out there because we were always like, we always heard it was like, yeah, you get 20 kids. I was like, well, I'm not driving 9 hours to play for 20 people, right? Like
It's that big?
yeah. So it's a drive, right? And so when they were like, yeah, we played to like 100 kids last night, I was like, well, we might have to go to the West Coast.
Man, that is like, why don't y'all just move? That's crazy.
Yeah, it becomes like I said, right? The advantages and the disadvantages. Like you want to do a tour, like you got 2 options. You can fly out and rent gear, which is what a lot of people do when they're going off the island here. If you drive again, like up until like last year, like you would leave St. John's, you would drive to the other side of the island, and like again, like it's a drive. So, and then you wouldn't be able to do a show. So, like realistically, like you're driving from here, you might do a show in Sydney, but really you're driving here to Halifax, right, to kind of get to the center city of Nova Scotia. So,
I thought we had it bad having to drive to Toronto in 6 hours.
the next time you're driving to Toronto, you're gonna be like, man, feel bad for the boys in smoke signals.
These en routes are amazing.
So, but yeah, so it's but again, like coming back to that like perspective of health, like now that we have that West Coast pocket, like now that there's younger bands popping up out there. There's this young band, I think the guys are in high school. They're called Paranoia, and they do like a thrash metal, like almost like death crossover, and it's so good. And I want to go out and play with them so bad because I just like I know like me and Ben who sings with us, like we heard it, we were like, oh man, this is coming out of Corner Brook. So it was just like that real cool moment. So we want to get out there hopefully soon and do something, whether it's like tacking on a day, like going up into the Maritimes or making a trip out specifically to do something out on the West Coast. But it's definitely encouraging now to have that extra stop. A lot of bands that we're talking to who are coming in the island now, like now they're making that stop and they're selling lots of merch and they're playing good shows. So it's nice now. Like you can kind of come in and do a regional run on the island.
Yeah. Do a Newfie tour.
That's right.
Would you mind if we tried something like a new segment that I just invented in my head?
Yeah, dude. Come on, let's roll.
We're gonna call it Newfie or not.
Okay.
Okay. Lobster.
Not.
Not.
No.
Okay. Trailer parks.
Not.
Trailer park boys.
That's more of a Nova. Like it's definitely big here, but that's definitely more of a Nova Scotia thing.
See, I was always under the impression that was a Newfie thing. I'm American, so all of this is a learning experience for me.
We're going to expand it. And do you want me to come back around? I'll give you the counterpart of what we're talking about.
Yes.
So like you're saying lobster, cod would be the Newfoundland thing.
Okay, so yeah, we can do that. That's even better. So yeah, if it's not Newfie, give me the Newfie version. So what's the Newfie
Trailer
version of
parks.
Trailer Park Boys?
We got Skeets would be like the yeah
What is
would
that?
be the it's gonna be kind of like very similar like what the J Rock character would have been on Trailer Park
My
Boys.
favorite character.
Yeah,
I love that. So a lot of like, you know, misguided white guy cultural appropriation type beats.
yeah, you got
Yeah.
it. Guys who think they're hard that are probably pretty hard, but like not as hard as they seem.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Everywhere has it. Everyone has their own version of Trailer Park Boys and Skeets.
yeah.
Because where I'm from, it was just white trash.
My hope is you leave this conversation using the term skis.
My oddly enough, my little league baseball team was called the Skeeters.
Oh,
I shit you not.
that's pretty sweet.
It was short for mosquito.
Yeah, completely different thing.
Yeah, not even close. Well, no, not even close. I was trying to think of another one. Another like ironic thing, like the dog, Newfie or not.
Like the Newfoundland dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's like we definitely have a lot of them here.
Right.
Oddly enough, the big dog here is Huskies. You see more Huskies than anything. Huskies and Beagles are probably like the two most seen dogs here.
Man, the dog scene's popping out there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm actually fostering a 12-year-old retired hunting dog right now.
Oh.
Yeah,
What kind of dog is he?
he's a beagle. I've had him now since before Christmas. He came to me with the name Sport, but we changed. That's like his shelter name. So we call him Merle
Oh.
after Merle Haggard because when we got him, he had a bunch of like cracked off teeth and he can't hear at all. His vision's a little bad. So I was like, this dog is pretty haggard. So we started calling him Merle Haggard.
Mama tried.
Yeah, mama did.
Well, that's great. And apparently one of the like top facts of Newfoundland is first of all that it's called Newfoundland and Labrador. And then secondly is that the majority of the population pronounces it incorrectly.
I would argue that the majority of the world pronounces it incorrectly.
That's what I'm saying. Like most people that exist pronounce it. So it's Newfoundland.
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 Yeah, you got to get that D on the end.
Yeah. So you run the whole word together until you hit the and.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. It's established.
Yeah. See, we're building bridges here today.
Well, thank you for humoring me. That may stay in, that may not. I kind of enjoyed it.
That was fun. What was the second one you asked? So it was the
Trailer parks.
Trail parks, right? Yeah.
You got
No.
everybody's got those.
Sheds and skeets. That would be the.
They're called
That would-
sheds.
Well, no, like actual like sheds outside your house. Like I mean, like we had shed parties here, where like you'd actually like have a party in a shed. There actually used to be a group of guys here who used to do shows in their shed.
That's sick.
Yeah, we played there like I think in the first like 6 months we were a band, and it was popping. So like, those are definitely like two things. Like they had a full festival called Shed Island. It's just synonymous with Newfoundland, right?
That's so hard. Like it's sick. It's like not to bring it back to Trailer Park Boys, but it's like Bubbles. How his whole life was in that shed.
It all comes back to Trailer Park Boys, man.
It really does. Anything Canadian, it's either Letterkenny or that's just too specific. Trailer Park Boys, I feel like stretches beyond the reach.
It's definitely more broad, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What was your introduction to hardcore?
So I'm actually like I was a pop punk guy growing up. Like I was very much like Newfound Glory, still my favorite band. Lifetime were the transition into hardcore for me.
Okay.
So when I started listening to Lifetime, I kind of bridged that gap listening to like Kid Dynamite, and then Kid Dynamite kind of turns into Painted Black, and then Painted Black turns into Hatebreed, right? So it's kind of just it keeps coming down through there. Another, I guess, probably like big band for me growing up was Comeback Kid. I think a lot of people in like especially hardcore in Canada, I think a lot of us kind of point to Comeback Kid as like the pillar of what built hardcore for a lot of us, and cool too because like they're still like still very active. They played here 2 years ago. They were insane. but they've had so many like eras of being a band where like you like anyone who likes heavy music, I feel like can throw on Comeback Kid and find something that they like.
Mhm.
So that would be kind of like, you know, like the big thing for me. Like I came into it through pop punk more than anything else. But like, you know, again, like once you hear like, you know, the Comeback Kid is kind of like your pipeline to No Warning, which is kind of your pipeline Trapped Under Ice. So
Thank you for making that connection because that was like so okay. Let's backtrack. If you so Comeback Kid, huge for most Canadians, I would say, that are in hardcore, if not all. Um, I Comeback Kid was like even one of my early like hardcore songs that I heard was Wake the Dead in like
yeah,
2005. As like living in the South, like that's crazy. Um, were you ever a Figure Four fan?
not as much. Like, I mean, I definitely do listen to Figure Four. But I like, I think the big thing that like hits with Comeback Kid is their music is so like accessible to a lot of people. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you don't need to like hardcore to like Comeback Kid. And I think that's why they're the gateway band for a lot of people, especially
Yeah,
in Canada.
mm-hmm. That makes sense. It does cross like kind of a lot, and like you said, their discography is very deep.
Oh man, it's crazy. I love like I even to now like when I like open up Spotify to like listen to Comeback Kid, and it warms my heart that like the top 5 songs are like all off Turn It Around, but like it's because that's kind of like I came in at Wake the Dead, and then you go backwards, and of course like the first place you land is Turn It Around, which is my favorite Comeback Kid record, but. I like I still loved Heavy Steps like when they put it out I was like man like these guys are breaking down doors here, left, right, and center. So,
Did you ever hear the Don't Try, the Shoe Knife EP that Andrew produced?
no, I haven't.
You should like compared to the new Comeback Kid stuff, it's very much on the same wave.
Okay.
And I don't know if he was like being proactive, putting their stuff like on that same wavelength as like trying to shape a new Canadian hardcore sound.
Right.
But it was a little bit ahead of like the curve that it's on. It's kind of like got a UK punk vibe, like a 77 vibe, but still very hardcore. But if you want, you should give it a listen. It's pretty good.
I will, man.
Shout out, Don't Try. Those are the boys from Quebec. But yeah, I mean, I guess like going off of being pop punk and getting into hardcore. Thanks for the Newfound Glory shout out as well. That's a hardcore band.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The tip of the iceberg is like I mean, they got like funny enough, like you go like I heard Gorilla Biscuits before I heard the Newfound Glory cover of Gorilla Biscuits, but it opened like my eyes to Gorilla Biscuits in a different light because like I didn't really listen to Hold Your Ground very much. Like I was a Start Today guy, and going then back and hearing like the cover, it made me appreciate Hold Your Ground a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now I listen to it as much as Start Today. So
I've been on a huge Newfound Glory kick recently, for the nostalgia, obviously, but I can remember a lot of people telling me stories of like moshing to Newfound Glory. I was like, moshing to Newfound Glory, like that's a
crazy thought.
Quite a stretch, but
yeah,
a lot of things go in Florida. Because they're from New Jersey.
No, they're from Florida.
They're from Florida. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, because yeah, I've seen a lot of things. Played a lot of shows in Florida. Seen a lot of things.
I saw them in 2013 at the House of Blues in Florida with like Set Your Goals and
wow.
I can't remember who else was on the. Now my brain is. It was a long time ago. Set Your Goal stands out because I was so excited to see them, and it was not great. And I don't think it was their fault. They had like a bunch of fill-in members. That's usually not a great sign. Man Overboard and the Wonder Years. Sorry, just came back to me.
Wonder Years, great band.
They're phenomenal. They were like they were great, but Newfound Glory was like a religious experience. Like they were, and they played everything. They came back. Their encore was Basket Case by Green Day. Like it was awesome. So just a total cool moment as like they're like I always tell like people like they're my Blink-182 like. Mm-hmm. everyone's like band that they get into is Blink, but like Newfound Glory was my Blink 182.
I mean, I feel like I respect that even more than having Blink be. Blink was one of my first, heavy band experiences. And I put
Right. And
heavy
I'm not
in
trying to
quotations.
I'm not shading anyone who likes I love Blink 182, but I don't know, there's something about Newfound Glory, and it's not shocking that they were like my gateway band into hardcore, because when I'm now listening to like, you go back and you see like pictures of them reviews and them playing live, and like Chad's always wearing like a Madball shirt, or
Hmm.
he's got something on that's like repping the band, sick of it all or something, and then you listen to and you're like, oh man, like I can totally hear how Set It Off inspired the guitar riff in Head On Collision. Like it's
Yeah. And that, I mean, they're all playing on that. All their gear is like, you could tell that they were playing a hardcore band. They're like, oh, we should just write this like happy shit.
yeah.
And it's all like 5150s and LTDs. I was like,
Yeah, they were definitely like Les Paul guys, dual rectifiers for a long
yeah.
time.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy. Speaking about flying to Florida for a show, aside from Comeback Kid, what are some like notable shows that you can remember coming to St. John?
Protest the Hero were probably like the big band that like kind of like kicked off a lot of people coming here. They always done well coming here. We cut like saying notable is like a weird one, because like I think about like some of the bands that I remember seeing. Like we had like Go It Alone come here like years ago when they were touring on Histories, and like they played in a basement here and in a dance hall, and I was a child at like that point, and like I just remember like how like cool it was to see them. Same thing, like we had Cancer Bats come in like early on. I think Risky Business played with them, and like Risky Business were great, and the Cancer Bats were great as well. I think lately, like we were lucky. Mile End came in there a little while back. Mile End are great. We unfortunately didn't get to play with them, but it was I went to all the shows that they had, and they were insane. Like they deserve all the love that they're currently getting. They're kind of popping off right now, and they deserve it. Like they're incredible. Same thing too. Like we had Bad Bet come through. Pale Lake came in recently. They were also like another band. I was just like where my mind was exploded watching them play.
R.I.P.
Yeah, gone too soon.
And I love them. We did a run with them through Halifax and New Brunswick, and it was so much fun. Like literally jaw on the floor every night watching them play.
The intensity in their lives was like something that like I was like these guys should not be playing small rooms like this. Like these guys should be on like fest circuits. Like they're too good for this. Like they shouldn't be playing the 50 cap room in Newfoundland right now. Like this is not fair to how good this band is.
Also, it was refreshing to see a band that's in that genre, like the very like metalcore, deathcore influenced music, using fully analog setups. Like they're running actual amp, like a 5153 with full pedals on the floor.
Yeah.
And then most people, not to shade anyone, okay, because I love a good quad cortex. Right? Don't get me wrong. But it was nice. You can hear the difference. I'll just say that.
We like funny enough, like when we played with them. So we're Helix users. We've been Helix guys since we kind of got the band back, like since we started playing again after COVID. And you start off using the modelers, and then you're like, this is great. I don't have to carry anything. This is nice and light. And then you're like, well, we'll start using the amps again every now and then. So then we were kind of going, like one show we were playing, because we're on in-ears, right? So one show we'd play with the Helix, and then we were playing a small show or something. So we're like, well, we're not lugging an in-ear rack down to play like a 50 cap room. So we just bring our amps. Then we started jamming with the Helixes into the amps. So we're like, oh, well, this is great. So we've kind of hit this like best of both worlds situation where we're using amps. Our tones are driven by amps, but we're processing through all the Helix stuff.
That's a good, that's what I would do if I were.
It's a lot of cables, man. I wouldn't recommend it. It's like, If I could find a way to get my amp sound into my ears easier, I would drop the modeler in a heartbeat. But it is nice. It's like I just have like one little controller on the floor, just like a little 6-button MIDI controller, and I love not carrying a pedal board. Brandon carries a pretty small pedal board. You know, he uses like the little HX Stomp and stuff like that. So you know, he's again not carrying you know, the space station like us, the guys in Pale Lake we're carrying around. I remember like studying their board. It was pretty cool. I was like hanging out with them, and I was like, they were like big on the Abominable Electronics pedals.
Yeah.
And I had the Hellmouth for a long time. And I was like really stoked on it. So I was like, it's cool to see this like little niche pedal company. It's on boards in Atlantic, Canada.
There's a company from here called GupTech that
GupTech?
Yeah. And
okay.
They paint like of like really just weird pedals casings.
Nice.
But they make like really, really cheap, good copies of pedals like HM2s and stuff like that. But then they'll have like the Quebec flag painted on the fucking pedal casing. So then you've got to repaint it because that sucks.
That's pretty funny. We love a good HM2, right?
Man, the HM2, the Quebec version, I can't even say it in French. Ashim der.
We the last time we were like before the songs that we released before the stuff that we're in the process of releasing now, we were I went through like a very heavy HM2 phase. Like I just had it turned on all the time, and I started writing like you know, everyone kind of coming through the pandemic. Like we were getting together when we could to jam, and then we lost the guitar player that we had, and our bass player left, so we were kind of like down to just me, Ben the singer, and James the drummer. And I was like, you know what? I'm using this as an opportunity to kind of like reinvent the wheel, because you know that's what you do when you're sat at home all the time. You start reinventing the wheel.
Yep.
So you know, you bring in the HM2, then the HM2 turned into the Swollen Pickle into a 5150, and all of a sudden now you're just like left with like this like chainsaw tone. And we used it. Like we went in and recorded 6 ohms, and I was like, we blended it like the chainsaw sound with like a 5150. And we had both of them, so you could kind of be like, yeah, we need a little more chainsaw. Bring in a little more chainsaw.
Yeah.
And never used it live. Spent months like building that sound. We started playing live again, and I was like, I don't know if this is going to translate well.
That's what I love, the chainsaw sound, but you have to blend it. Like
you have to. I absolutely 110%.
I think the Rust album by Harm's Way was like one of the perfect sounds where you're listening to it and you're like, oh, this is HM2. But if you tried to make that sound with just HM2, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's we had to do everything in like stereo, and I was just like, you know, like we were kind of like we were kind of sat around trying to figure out how to do it live. And I was like, I have given my brain too much of trying to make this work. So I was like, we're not going to do it live. This is going to be a thing that we did once in the studio, and we'll never do it. And it was just like, you know, like you do that thing and then you never talk about it again. This is the first time I've talked about it
in years, like 5 years.
Yeah. We just come out of it and we're like, you're just like, well, you know what? We did it. No one could say we didn't do it.
Well, Smoke Signal started in 2013.
2013, yeah.
Wow. But on like Spotify and stuff, the releases go back to like 2018, 2019.
Yeah, we weren't like, first of all, I couldn't figure out how to get, like, it wasn't as easy to do back in 2013 to get your music out. There was no DistroKid and stuff like that. So that process, so we were a big Bandcamp band.
Nice.
We'd be like, we put everything that we could on Bandcamp. So like if you look on Bandcamp, and we don't upload anything on Bandcamp anymore, but all of our old stuff is still up on Bandcamp. Our first release was recorded, like we used to jam in my grandmother's garage. And like one day I was like, we were jamming and like forgetting how the songs went in between jams, because we were like doing these like big like breaks in between. We jam like one jam for like 3 or 4 weeks. And like one day I was like, all right, I'm gonna sub some mics, so we're just gonna record it. So we just like got it. And the other guitar player who was playing with us, Adam, at the time, was like, "We should just put it out." And I was like, "No," and we did. We did. We mixed it the best we could. We did it all ourselves, and we just like put it up on Bandcamp, and we were stoked. You know, it went up, and people were like, "Hey, it sounds pretty good." We're like, "Yeah, man, we put a lot of work into it."
There's always that one guy. We should just put it out. No, no.
He's like, and like you know, Adam was not the guy to be the let's just put it out guy. It was very like left field for him to be like, because he was like the like let's go to a studio like, but like I think once we had it done, he's like just put it out. Sounds great. I was like, yeah, sure, all right, man. Because we were like we started off as a side project, right? All of us at the time, except for Ben the singer, like all of us played in a pop punk band, and we are like, let's start a hardcore band for fun. And then the pop punk band just like stopped being a band, so we are like, let's just keep the hardcore band going, right?
That's all you do. You just have backups.
You know, we were very lucky. Like at that time, like it was a very good time for hardcore in St. John's. So we were getting to play with like a lot of bands. Like again, like coming up through pop punk, like I never got to play with like I used to go to hardcore shows, like we never got to play them. We were like not that newfound glory hardcore adjacent pop punk, right? So, but like being able to like go and like play those shows and like the energy and like how like crazy people would go and stuff like that, I was like, man, this is fucking great. Like why would we not do this? So, you know, and I always got to shout out our drummer James. Like for the first like 3 years we were a band, like he was really like the lifeblood of like keeping it going. He was always like, we got to keep doing smoke signals. We got to keep doing smoke signals. We got to keep doing smoke signals. And I'm not here today. I'm like, man, I'm fucking really glad we had him playing drums because like there's so many times the band probably would have just like stopped. Right. Mm-hmm. We just probably just like would have just like hit a wall, stopped the you know, the group chat would have just like stopped being that thing. But he was the guy, man. You know, I got to give him his flowers. He kept the band going through all the dark times.
Shout out drummers.
Yeah.
You need them. I know from experience because I play drums, but it's a busy life. Yeah, I mean, you should, a note on Bandcamp, you should keep uploading on Bandcamp.
Yeah, someone reached out to us recently and they were like, is this new stuff coming up on Bandcamp? I was like, yeah, I'll see if I can remember the password to upload it.
I'm saying, like, it doesn't seem like it's that beneficial, but there are diehard Bandcampians, right? I don't know if that's a word, but I'm coining it.
Listen, man, TM,
yeah,
Bandcampians.
There you go, Bandcamp. I'll take my royalty check. Well, we put our demo out on Bandcamp like 2023, and there's still like at once a month somebody's buying it. I'm like, man, why are you buying this? I appreciate it, but why?
For the cost of one EP, you could have all the EPs.
You can keep a band struggling. Yeah, I mean, I think it's beneficial, like to sell merch, and I mean, we sell our leftovers on Bandcamp and they go really quick, which is nice because Bandcamp doesn't really charge to sell anything.
I think the last time we uploaded a release on Bandcamp was in 2017.
That's horrible.
We hit DistroKid and just never looked back.
I like it's even cool because you can use it as a tool of doing like your streaming release and then you can do your Bandcamp release. So you can even add like bonus tracks or something onto it. So it gives incentive for people to be like, oh, I can like, instead of like, let's say you, like people want to buy the record because streaming doesn't support bands. Like anybody listening and you think that streaming supports bands, it's wrong. Just look at numbers. Even Taylor Swift has said it. It doesn't support anything. If you want to support a band, buy their record and then stream it if you want to stream. So on Bandcamp, you give people the opportunity to spend $5 and then it's like, oh, thank you for buying the record. Now go and stream it. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
Or even, if you have an LP, you can sell the LP for $10, you know, and people are going to be like, why is he talking about money? Because it takes money to record stuff and to make merch.
Yeah, listen, anyone who's listening, being in a band is fun and expensive.
And nobody makes money. No, if you're lucky, you don't spend money. So
Yeah, we've been operating at a loss for the last 12 years.
our end of year report is out, and again, a loss.
We are in the red.
Great job, everybody. So yeah, I think I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your band, but Bandcamp, I think for people is I like I like checking Bandcamp just to see like if there's something that they haven't put out on streaming, or there's that
I
odd
do
release.
like something that I like, I think that like the thinking back on it now, like the thing that I miss about using an interface like Bandcamp more than anything else is you're so much more in control over the operation of everything, which is
Yeah.
really cool. Like, because you know, I never would talk bad about the powers that be that help us keep our music up on all these streaming services. But it's just like you throw it into the ether and it just like goes.
Yeah. It kind of loses its soul in a sense, which
Yeah, we made tapes in 2017, like when like the tape revival was happening. The shout out to Montreal. We had them made at Duplication Canada in Montreal. They had like a really cool deal on one time, and we pressed them and did it up there. And every now and then, like someone will reach out to us and be like, "You still got tapes?" I'm like, "Dude, I got a basement full of tapes. Do we still got tapes?"
I got all the tapes you need.
We're running buy one get three right now.
I just need them gone. Yeah, that's. Oh, I mean, tapes still go. I buy tapes.
I think like for us, like I was like, we were like at that point, like we were like, all right, we're going to tour the summer and do all this stuff. I was like, fuck it, I'm ordering 300 tapes because we're going to need them. We're going to sell 300 tapes. And I think we sold like probably like 150 locally, like, like, and that might be a little gracious. We might have sold 75. But if like half the tapes are gone. So in my mind, I'm like, we sold 150. And I'm always like, they were so cheap to make. And like when we I think we just kind of like bottomed out the amount that we could sell locally. We still bring them to shows. We still sell them. I'll fucking print tapes again.
You just need to make it to second press.
Yeah. Dude, that is a genius idea. I'm going to order new J cards for them.
Just straight up, it's the same record.
Release a variant. Dude, it works for comic books.
The colorway is different.
Yeah, we'll hand number these ones and a different colorway on the J card.
These are blue black swirl.
Yeah, these ones come with a sticker.
An insert, a special insert.
$15.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not unheard of. Straight up.
We sell them for $3.
That's because you're liquidating.
We were selling them for $5 when we got them, which was like, even like at the time, I was like, because again, like we got such a good deal on them when we ordered them. They had like they don't do it anymore. They were called singles, and you only got 10 minutes. I was like, we can put an EP out in under 10 minutes. So you get 10 minutes of tape and whatever you can put on that 10 minutes. So we put an entire like 6-song EP on it, and we only had to leave like one song out, and so we got them for like super cheap. Like I remember when I was like, I feel like I'm robbing these. They're like, it's so cost effective.
And that gives me. I mean, I would put our demo back out on tape if they were that cheap. That's fucked up.
Yeah. We. I think I'd have to fist fight half the band to be able to do it again, because like every time I go to like roll the tapes into a show, I get a collective eye roll from the 4 other guys. They're like, "Oh, the fucking tapes are coming. Leave them home." I'm like, man, they're not in your basement. Like,
I'm in constant stress of these tapes in my basement. Y'all have a new EP coming out is it on the 12th of March now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 12th. Yeah. 12th of March. I'm so unsure because it floated between 3 dates. We were like 12th, 15th, 17th, and for no reason. There's no rhyme or reason to any of those dates. I pulled up a calendar and I was like, the 12th looks pretty good. Let's go with the 12th.
But I listened to the single that's out, "Smoke You Out."
A little on the nose, yeah.
Yeah, streaming everywhere. Is this y'all's Edge Break song?
No, I'm still Edge. Anyone who's been in the band who was maybe Edge at one point has definitely broken Edge.
Is there something you need to tell us? Are you smoking us out?
No, it was funny enough, this was like the one song that I had like very little to do with on like a lyric standpoint. And when Ben walked into the room, we were doing like pre-production. And I was like, what's this one called? He was like, Smoke You Out. I was like, I don't love the name, dude. And I was like, people are gonna I got an image to keep up.
I had to subtly work the straight edge in there.
Yeah.
I love the direction. It's got a bit of a funky vibe at the end.
Yeah. We funny enough, man, like we started like writing these songs and with like the full intent, like we did an EP that we released in 2020 called The Mind and Beyond. I was like up one night, just like trying to find shit to write songs about. Just like I was like, I need something to just like inspire me to like make a song. And because I was just like, I was in a well, couldn't, just like nothing was working. And I was like online, just like looking at weird shit on like Wikipedia. And I found this like book collection called like Mysteries of the Universe or something like that. And it kind of it ticked me because I was like, huh, weird. I was like, it's kind of like the Trapped Under Ice album. So I go down this like fucking rabbit hole about this Mysteries of the Universe book. And one of the books was called The Mind and Beyond. And I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. Didn't read the book. I like read like the synopsis of it. And I was just like, I took that title and just ran with it. I was like,
hell yeah.
I was like, here we go, guys. I got this like whole thing figured out. And they were like, yeah, man, that's weird. And the route I used to drive to work every day, I used to drive past this. I still to this day don't know what the building was. Outside the building, they had this big sign that said Cosmic Walks, 1999. I don't fucking know what a Cosmic Walk is, but that ended up being the second song on that EP.
Like a walk, like a WOK?
Yeah, Cosmic Walk. No idea. No idea
Dude,
what
that
it
is an insane group of words.
Isn't it? So, well, hey, listen, those two words was one of my favorite Smoke Signal songs to this day.
I mean, amazing name. I'm now going to look up right now what a Cosmic Walk is. Because now I need to know. You've grouped me into this.
Yeah, see? It could be something crazy. I have no idea. I take no responsibility for what it is after the fact.
Okay. So I don't have Cosmic Walk. I have Cosmo Walk. Cosmic Cookware.
Is a Cosmo Walk when you drink a bunch of Cosmos and go on a walk?
No.
No?
That would be nice, though. Kind of what I did last night, to be honest. So it looks like it's an actual cookware kind of thing, but
okay,
these are way more than $19.99.
Yeah.
These are like blue carbon steel. Fancy shit. Anyway. Oh, these are on Maiden. That's why they're so expensive. Anyway.
Sorry. Yeah, so we were kind of just like sat around one day, me and James, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be hilarious? This started as a joke, right? I was like, wouldn't this be hilarious to do a follow-up EP to our weirdest EP and call it Beyond the Mind? He was like, that's the dumbest idea you've ever had. And we're about to release Beyond the Mind in March. So I'm pretty stoked on that.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Like fully, like was like purposely trying to write songs that would like feel like the continuation. Cause like The Mind and Beyond is like our weirdest stuff. So I was like, let's like find a way to make weird shit again. Just to like, and like, again, like we were probably like started this idea without even thinking about releasing it. We're probably just like, this is kind of just like a haha for the boys. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, we started writing and I was like, man, these are actually like pretty good. Like I'm actually like pretty stoked on these songs. And the big difference is like when me and Ben got together to start writing the lyrics, like they came out like a lot harder than what we did before. So we were kind of like, you know what? Like we had already reached out to Kalen to do artwork for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, yeah, man, we were like, here's the title, here's all the shit. And like we had the artwork, so we were kind of like, I guess we're trapped in like doing this EP now. So, but it's we were very lucky because it all just kind of came together. And like listening back to it now, like whenever I get the opportunity and stuff, like I'm so proud and so stoked of like what started off as like a ha 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 moment, like turned into this like real cool thing. And a few people that we've sent the EP to have been really warm about it. Hey guys, like this is really good. Like we, a good direction for you guys and stuff like that. So even the guy that we recorded with Brian at Paradise Sound has been recording us since like 2016. So even like when he was like, "Yo, this stuff is like," he's like, "This makes sense like for you guys. This is like a direction that's like all these like stuff you did last time didn't make sense." He was like, "This makes sense." So I was like, "Cool, all right, sweet." So we're really really stoked on that. So, but it is pretty funky, Mm-hmm. We like Smoke You Out when we were writing it. We got to the bridge and like I was like, man, like how fucking cool would it be to have like a part like in Funk 49, like a drum and bass part? And the guys were like, tell me you are not trying to bring in influences from the guitar player from the Eagles. And I was like, yo, dude, I'm finding the fucking way. So, we start off by building that, that big jungle drum beat. Matt throws the bass line over it. And then I'm like, all right, let's get like let's get like a click. And he's like, give me a click. I'm like, I made James go out and like get a jam block.
Yeah, like a vibra slap and shit.
We got a vibra slap in there and shit. So like, it's just the idea of just like, I was like, let's just like, if we're gonna do it, like let's lean into it. Like let's do something different. Like let's do something that like we haven't done. And we haven't put a vibra slap on a song. So yeah.
You have to give it the island vibe.
The island vibe? Like
No, because I live on an island. So you
The island vibe here would be like putting a mandolin on it.
Let's throw this thing into a whirl. Bluegrass.
Yeah. So guys, I got the next direction. Thrash grass.
Oh, that's already a thing too. It's horrible. Have you heard that? Have you heard thrash grass?
I have absolutely heard thrash grass. Yeah.
What's the name of that stupid band? Something holler. I don't know. There's a few of them that they can all just disappear, and it would be good.
It kind of blew up a few years ago with the guys doing the bluegrass versions of Metallica songs, and I was like,
very cool though.
I was like, I love this, and then it kept going. I was like, starting to not love this as much.
Stop what you're doing.
Yeah. We got to Slayer, and I was like, please don't. Like,
yeah, you can't do Raining Blood on mandolins. That's stupid.
But yeah, so we we got the EP coming out. There's 2 more songs coming. Something too cool that also like every time like we kind of like hit a wall, we just try something different. So every song on this EP has a guest vocal as well. All people from that we kind of like grew up with playing shows in other bands. So I'll talk about Smoke You Out because like that's what's out, but as like a little haha tidbit, there is guest vocals on every track. We had Griffin Simpson come in from Release the Hounds. He came in and like I grew up with Griffin. We used to skateboard together. We got kicked out of grade 7 English one time together. Me and Griffin got a lot of history. And when he came in, he was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, we want you to do you. Like, you do your thing. And he was like, I changed some of the words. I remember, like, dude, like he was like, I'll give you one like you and I'll give you one like me. And he just like, the track that he gave us that was like his take on it was like, we heard it. We were just like, oh my God, dude, like this is exactly what this needed. And like, Smoke You Out wasn't the single. Like when we were like coming up, we were like, no. Like it was kind of like, I was like, I don't know. We should lead with the song with the vibra slap, guys. Like, I don't know. It might be a little too much for people. And, but then like, we once we got the gang vocals on it and the guest spot from Griffin, like I fought it tooth and nail because it was not the song that I thought should have went first. But, after like we like kind of talked about it and stuff, I was like, no, man, like it makes sense. Like the song is super catchy. The guest spot's fucking hard as like, it made the song so much better than like what it was. We actually just shot a video for it as well. So that'll probably be dropping with the EP. So
nice.
Yeah.
Is that all you're doing, all the recording in-house?
No. So we're with, Brian O'Reilly over at Paradise Sound. So he's in the next community over from us. We've been with Brian for forever. So he's a good friend of mine. And he throws because for the amount of recording that he like, for the amount of bands that are like coming to record with him, he has a ridiculous studio. I think it's more of a passion project for him now, more than anything else. But like he like every time I go over there, he's got like a new $2,000 piece of analog hardware that's just like sitting in a rack, and I'm like, why would we go anywhere else? And like the amount of like studios here that like had people that understand hardcore, I think is few and far in between. Like we recorded with Rob Rose at Car Crash Studios years ago, and my old metalcore band recorded with Rob. My pop punk bands recorded. Like Rob was like my go-to guy for a very long time. He doesn't do it anymore. That was like partial reason why we stopped, why we didn't do stuff with him after that. But my friendship with Brian also kind of came into play there. But when we were recording with Rob always had this like thought of like heavy music sounds like Deftones.
Sounds like what?
Deftones.
That's not like a bad direction.
It is not at all. I'm not here to throw shade at Deftones, but like when you're trying to go in and sound like Madball,
yeah,
and then you're getting like that like around the fur drum tone, you're just like, this sounds amazing, but it's like not what it should be. And then like we go over, we record with Brian. Brian's a punk. Like he listens to like Bad Religion, No Effects, and like shit like that. So like he gets it. Like when you're like. When you're like, yo, like make the kick sound more splatty, and he's like, I got you. When you say that to the wrong guy, you leave with the Back in Black snare drum sound, right? So it's just like having someone in our world who comes to our shows, who's familiar with the songs and stuff. Like it made it that much easier to work with them. So like as long as Brian's recording, I would wager to say we'll be recording with Brian.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds really, really good. I don't know, like, I guess I don't think of people having recording studios, because I feel like there's not a ton of recording happening.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if it, and the amount that y'all release music, I feel like a lot of bands that put out like releases so often, especially like just, singles and EPs a lot, they're usually like tuned into recording.
Yeah, so our jam space is in my basement, and I do record. We do have like a recording setup and stuff, and like we do pre-production for everything we do. Everything's done to a click. Like we're pretty meticulous about stuff. Like we probably could release our pre-production, but like I like going in somewhere with a extra set of ears and someone who can kind of like listen to it and be objective to like what's happening. And if it was left to me, like there'd be too much wild shit. Like this stuff would be too weird. And having someone who can like stop me when I get on a tangent of an idea is really good to have. So I'm always very thankful to kind of have that there too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good job on the single. Can't wait to hear Beyond the Mind. I feel like LeVar Burton needs to say the title.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, no, it's I'm really excited for everyone to hear it and stuff. So it's and like I'm feeling good about these songs, and I think like the people, like we played them all at a show after Christmas. We played at a bowling alley, and we played all three of them. One of the guys who did a guest spot got up and did one of the songs with us, and like it was like a whole cool thing. And like they went over really, they got a pretty good like warm welcome and stuff. I was like, like we're gonna be on the show, like let's test them. Let's play all three. Like let's see what happens, see how they hit. And we like put them like right in like early in the set just to like have like at like a good spot. I was really happy with how they kind of went over. So I'm really, really excited to get them out there, everybody there.
What do y'all have coming up within the year, and any plans to do some traveling or?
Yeah, so I mean, like short term, I think like right now we're back to writing again. We're kind of in a full length mindset right now. We're really kind of looking at doing a full length. We're about 6 songs deep on that now. But like the other big goal this year is touring. Like we're hoping to fly out at least once or twice, and we'd really like to do a maritime run at some point this year. That's kind of like we're kind of like, let's get over this hump, like get the EP out, get all this stuff done. We got our release shows booked and stuff. So I was like, let's get over this hump, and then we'll start kind of like lasering in on stuff like that. I mean, Ideally, like, we'd love to do something like, Montreal Madhouse or Hold Your Ground or something like that. Like a fly out for something like that would be really cool. But we're not like, we'll do anything. We're pretty easy going.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much money to do that.
Yeah, and it's again, like, we're all in our 30s now. Like we're older guys. So it's for us, like, doing this stuff is it's more of a fun. Like we look at going on tour as like going on vacation.
Mhm.
Because like we're gonna enjoy ourselves, we're gonna go see a different city, we're gonna make some new friends, we're gonna, do what we like to do, which is play these shows and stuff like that. So like it's like I think for like the perspective of like what I would have had when I was 20, where I would have been like, oh man, like we got to find a way to like not lose money. Like now I'm just kind of like, fuck it. If we lose $1,000, we'll have stories.
What was it? The real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think like too, like we've played with so many bands like from like Atlantic Canada and like, like playing like meeting the guys in Mile End and then playing with Bad Bet, like stuff like that, which is kind of like, all right, like this is like a good time to like go do stuff. Just because like hardcore is like seems like it's at an all-time high right now. And like you look at like all the bands that are coming out and they're like doing shit, like it's crazy. So I'd love to go and be a part of that. Like the community side of it intrigues me more than anything else. So, again, like we're not worried about losing money. We're more just worried about just getting the opportunity to go out and do it, right?
It's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm just a student. I think about money all the time. Well, Jeff, this has been a lot of fun. I love that I now know so much about Newfoundland and excited about the EP coming out soon. Just have one last question for you before we
All right,
take off. What's your favorite city for beans and breakdowns?
favorite city for beans and breakdowns. Hmm. I like what's coming out of Hamilton right now. I don't know much about what's going on there in the run of beams, but like
It's good
in the
beans.
in the land of breakdowns, those guys are like the guys and girls up there are doing some wild shit. So that would be off the top, off the cusp. That would be my answer.
Right off the top of the nog.
Yeah, Steel City.
What is the I don't want to do that. I have too many friends. It would be fun though. What's the best band from Hamilton right now?
Man, it's hard to not go with that bet. Like that fucking EP is
Trapped Under Ice.
it's so
I'm just
good.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I love Kyle. I think he sounds like Justice a lot, but
I could see that.
yeah. Yeah, Hamilton's good. I love Hamilton. That's one of my favorite cities to play. Well, not so much play as just hang out in.
It's also like it's hard not to give like the nod to Gavel as well, right? Like
Dude, the Gavel's my favorite Hamilton band. We're like we're playing some shows in like the Ontario, the places that you play in Ontario. And
yeah,
we're supposed to play in Niagara, like St. Catharines on a Sunday at matinee. And then Gavel was playing like their first show in 2 or 3 years, something like that.
right.
And we're like trying to see what we need to do to get on the show. Because it's already full, like the bill is packed.
Right. You're like, we need 10 minutes. Just give us 10 minutes.
We will play 2 songs.
Yeah.
Just because we all love Gavel.
It's almost a crime not to. Like it's
Yeah, you have to.
So it was actually hilarious, man, when we played with Bad Bet. Brandon had his Gavel shirt on, and the other guys were like, "What?
How did you get this?"
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So
yeah, that's great. Love Hamilton. Good beans. Just a great coffee spots out there as well.
I'll definitely have to. I'll have to make a note to check that out.
Synonym, best coffee shop in Ontario. It's like I don't know if it's the best. This is just my favorite.
Okay.
And then there's a few roasters there that are really good. So, well, Jeff, Thank you so much for spending some Sunday afternoon time with me.
No, man, thank you for having me. I really, really, really appreciate giving, the space. The conversation was great. Anytime I can talk about hardcore and coffee in one conversation is pretty great. So, we love that.
Amazing. Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beans and Breakdowns. I want to say a huge thanks to Jeff for hanging out on the podcast. Be sure to be on the lookout for Beyond the Mind, the newest EP from Smoke Signals, available on streaming March 12th. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. You can find out more information about the podcast by following us on Instagram at Beans and Breakdowns or on the web at beansandbreakdowns.com. Until next week, be sure to stay caffeinated and wake the fuck up.